Welcome back to the channel, Paradise in Paraguay, where this is our paradise. Okay.
What up, though, everybody?
Yes. So as you can see, we are out in some beautiful nature. Well, we're always out in beautiful nature, but this place in particular is a resort hotel. It's called Los Lagos Resort Hotel, and we are here in celebration of my birthday. I just had a birthday a couple days ago. This is the last day of our stay here for my birthday.
Thus the pink wristbands.
Right, that's why we have wristbands on.
Yep.
So yeah, so we were like, you know, why don't we use this as an opportunity to bring forth you guys a great video. So hit that like button while you're here, hit that subscribe button. You know, don't be stingy, hit the like button now and the subscribe button, okay? Show us some love.
Yep.
But yeah, it's really hot out here. That's why I keep wiping my face. So you're gonna see me do that throughout the video. It's okay though. We're okay. You okay?
I'm good.
We're okay.
We got some water, so yeah, we'll be all right.
How hot is it? You know, they want to know.
I think it's 90 something, probably 97, 98.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
I know we're a little crazy, but we're not that crazy, okay? We love our channel, we love you guys, so we're here. And our kids are okay. They are in some air conditioning right now. That's all you need to know.
Yep.
So yeah, so today's video, we actually wanted to talk about a specific topic. So let's get into it. Let's talk about what was the main thing that sparked our move out of the United States and into Paraguay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, when it comes to moving out of a country, you have a lot of things that you got to consider, a lot of things that can affect your decision to even want to move. For us, the very first thing was thinking about raising our family.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially our children specifically.
Yeah.
We were married for 3 years without having kids, just so we could enjoy marriage without kids for a while.
Right.
And we were good. You know, we're adults, we are fully established, you know, anchored well in the Lord and everything.
Yeah.
Financially
anchored.
everything was good. But soon as we had our first child, our 9-year-old son,
we started rethinking life.
Yeah.
You know, for everybody that's a parent out there, I'm sure you have similar sentiments, similar thoughts. You start thinking about, you know, okay, what's life going to be like? For you start thinking about yourself, but of course your children. Like, what's life going to be like for me and my spouse? Hopefully you have a spouse if you're having children. But you're like, what's life going to be like for the whole unit, you know, but especially the children.
Mm-hmm.
How do I want to raise them? What do I want them exposed to? What don't I want them exposed to? You know, how are the schools going to be around wherever I'm going to have my child at?
Yeah.
You know, like you just start thinking about the entire, just every aspect of life. Ooh, see the sun, y'all? It's moving. Now it's on my face. When we first started, it wasn't like that, but we're gonna keep going, okay?
Yep.
So we had those thoughts like most parents do, but of course, most people don't move out of the country to to shield their children from certain things, although a lot of people probably would like to. But for us, that became the decision that we wanted to make.
Yes.
And so we did it. So let's talk about that. Start to talk about like your first, you know, thoughts on that when we had our son. Because the initial thought did come from him. This was not my idea. If you haven't seen our Why We Left the U.S. videos, part 1 and part 2, where we talked about this, I just wanted to reiterate that the initial idea actually came from my husband.
All right, so as we stated already, it really wasn't something we were even really thinking about seriously.
Right, not at first.
Until we actually, literally, until the night that, our early morning that our son was born. That's when the idea popped in my head. We had been considering, you know, since we had traveled extensively internationally before we had children, we had been thinking, oh, one day in the future when we're retired, you know, like a lot of Americans think, oh yeah, I want to be in paradise when I retire.
Paradise.
But as soon as that early morning when our son was there and I'm looking at him in his face, you know, we're going through the whole rigmarole, having them eat every 2 hours and stuff like that. If you've had kids and gave birth and all, you know how that goes. But anyway, we're going through this whole process in the hospital, and I have this epiphany, like, we have to get out of here. I can't raise my son here, and we wanted more children after that. It's like, I can't grow my family here. Before we had our first kid, we had already decided we wanted to homeschool them, and it's not because it was curriculum, but that wasn't the main thing.
Not the main thing.
The main thing was thinking about were basically behavioral issues, and not of our kids. Our kid was just born, and we didn't know behavioral issues of their peers.
We were just trying to think about the future.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, most of the dumb or bad things I might have done was heavily influenced by trying to fit in, trying to gain the acceptance or approval of my peers.
Yep, same. Me too. And I've seen my friends do the same thing.
Yeah.
Just trying to be cool, quote unquote.
And the thing is, the peers nowadays are way worse in regards to behavioral issues than the peers of back when we were children.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot less discipline nowadays, and there's a lot less unity amongst parents and teachers and all that stuff nowadays than there was back in the day.
Right.
So that was my main concern at the time. Yeah. Now, of course, back then, I don't think, but there could have been some No Child Left Behind and Common Core math and all that stuff.
To an extent, maybe.
But now,
not the way it is now.
It's a bit ridiculous because I'm not a kid in school, but I've seen kids in school showing what they're learning and stuff on YouTube and whatnot.
Oh my gosh.
And how complicated they make simple things. It's like they're trying to make us dumb or something. I don't know. So they're not doing that here, and it's not like we were searching through the curriculums and everywhere we were trying to. It was like no, this is an American thing. This ain't happening nowhere else. And
right. But back to this, you think it was trying to make people dumb. And unfortunately, I think they have succeeded quite a bit. Like if you really just sit and listen to some people speak and watch, people out in real life and on the internet, you'll see a lot of similarities of like stupid stuff. You know? It's just a lot of weird things. It's like, dang it, it's coming from the schools, I think so. But like not necessarily.
They're trying to teach people to read with what is it? With look at recognizing the symbol, sight reading, not phonics. It's like what? So if you've never
talking about big words, because sight reading is okay for the small words.
No, for every word.
Oh.
And contextual reading, like if there's
I don't be looking. I haven't looked into all.
Yeah, I was looking at different teachers' point of view. Like you got to use the context of the pictures. Okay. What if there's no pictures? And that's your foundation. Like so when you do graduate from picture books where there's no picures, you can't read.
Like,
there's no context. Let me look at the cover.
I didn't see that. There's no picture for this word here. Mama, can you help me?
It's like, come on, like anybody that, and I'm sorry if you're offended about, if you're a supporter of this method of teaching, but honestly, I think it's ridiculous. Come on, phonics is the way that we've been learning to read forever. Right. Why change it? Really, it's been changed because the consultants make money, teaching teachers how, in new workshops. That's what it really is. Yeah. The more you can change stuff around, the more revenue can be generated by introducing new things. But let's not get into that too much, because that's not what my main thinking was 8 years ago. Yeah. My main thinking was, who's influencing my children?
That's the main thing.
That's the main thing.
And for the most part, it's, a lot of bad children.
Yeah.
And I don't want to call them bad because perhaps it's not all their fault. But yeah, I don't want to say that there are bad kids, but I kind of do because there's some bad kids out here, okay? So, I don't know. Sorry if you're offended by that. Maybe we'll just say they had a bad upbringing or they had bad parents because there is a such thing as bad parents. Definitely.
And we know that is difficult for a lot of parents because of this hamster wheel lifestyle we basically developed into in the United States.
That's one factor.
Yeah, that's one. But there's a lot.
Use it all away. Some people are just lazy. They don't want to raise their children right, and therefore they send children that are problems, those little problems, to school and
expect the teachers to deal with it.
They're terrorizing the teachers and they're terrorizing their peers and bullying and teasing and. It's somebody's fault, and it's usually who raised them.
Yeah, and so we're gonna talk about we mentioned it has to do with lack of time, but then also has to do with lack of accountability and discipline.
And lack of morals.
Parents are trying to be more friends with their kids than actual parents.
Yes.
And just trying to let them do their thing and live their life where you're supposed to be guiding them and shaping them into the person that they are to grow up to be.
Right. Not just letting them shape how you. Let them shape the way you should be parenting. It should be the other way around.
Right.
You should be shaping the way that they're growing up.
Yeah. And so, sorry if you're offended about that, but that's something we highly believe in. And if you don't believe in that, then maybe you are not living in reality.
Right, definitely, yeah, definitely. Because
So
little boys in particular who need, you know, a true man example, a male figure in their life, and the ones that are missing that, I don't know, they just seem to be
they have some of the
really out there.
most behavioral issues.
Yeah, really aggressive, and they don't know where to channel that and how to deal with
their emotions properly and,
girls,
stuff
of
like
course,
that.
need fathers too, but I'm just saying, we have learned a lot, okay, in our short span of life that God has blessed us with thus far. And we just try to use as much wisdom and discernment as possible, because, you know, we all got to live in this world together. We can't fully escape all the bad things, but what we can do is reduce the chances of stupid things, violent things, bad peers and all that type of stuff as much as we can around our children.
Yeah, and so it's not just the negative bad stuff that you would say, oh, those kids are just bad. There's also other things like consumerism and materialism that it's pervasive through society, especially in the schools. If you don't have on the right shoes or the right brand of clothes or the right water bottle or backpack which is so ridiculous.
The stupid Stanley Cup phenomenon that happened not too long ago. Oh my gosh.
It's
right, the certain backpack.
Yeah.
The newest iPhone, even though you know.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
that you got on payments, but yet people be trying to brag and act like, you know, if they got an iPhone and someone else doesn't, they're better or they got more money or this.
Yeah, and you paying for it over 2 years, like you.
All the phones are very expensive. Anybody that has any type of smartphone nowadays, you know, you got to have some type of money, but it's like, I don't know. People just be doing the absolute most.
Yeah, yeah.
The phone wars, like, it's stupid. It's so stupid to me.
Yeah, it's really dumb. So
an iPhone, you don't, so you must be broke.
Yeah.
Like, his Android costs just as much. He just didn't want that phone, maybe.
Or maybe,
everybody don't want that.
Or maybe it didn't cost as much. But who cares? Why does it matter?
Because people put their value and their self-worth into things.
Yeah.
And phones is just one example of many. It really ain't even about the phone wars. It's all of it. Just going back to the water bottle thing. If you don't have the Stanley, you got this type, you go get teased at school. You know how many videos we saw with that? And oh my gosh, it's just, people are people.
In the United States, people tie their self-worth and their self-esteem to the things that they have and the things they can acquire. Not universally, but generally, yeah.
More tangible.
Right, like the type of person you are.
Come on.
What type of skills you have, what knowledge you have, what you can offer to society.
How you treat people, are you kind?
Are you friendly? Can you make friends just from being yourself, no matter what you are adorned with, you know?
No, a lot of people, they think they have to look a certain way to be who they're not. And it's, we don't want that.
We didn't want that for our children.
We don't have that.
We didn't want our children growing up in.
We got away from all of that.
Yeah, I mean, here things are way more basic. Our kids are in a local neighborhood public school.
And
nobody cares.
All get out.
No one cares about any brands of anything. No one has a phone there because they don't allow phones like it used to be back when we were kids. The phones aren't allowed in school, at least in the public school system. Maybe the private schools they are. We don't have our kids in private schools, so we can't speak for all of them. But in the public schools, they're not. The phones aren't allowed.
We know some parents that do have their kids in private school, and it's still nowhere near the level of craziness going on in the private schools here, as like from where we're from. Oh Lord, I can't talk. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, it's also, you know, there's the whole. Again, the materialism and stuff. Our kids could not give a care less about Nike or Ralph Lauren or whatever is hot now, because the peers down here, at least in the public schools, they don't care.
No.
So there's no type of, oh, we need this to wear this or have that to fit in. There's no hot backpack or cool water bottle or anything like that.
Right, none of that mess that just makes people feel like they're nothing if they don't have it.
Right, and then they gotta beg their parents, oh, can you get me this, can you get me that? And we know a lot of you parents out there are dealing with that.
Yeah.
And you might not want to deal with it, but you also want your kids to fit in and not be ostracized.
And not get bullied.
Right, so you deal with it and you go and you acquiesce and you go ahead and buy the stuff for them to try to, you know, allow them to be accepted. And it's really silly
be that
you gotta have certain things to feel accepted.
Right, it shouldn't even be that way, but the truth of the matter is, it is.
Yeah,
I mean, we recognize that, and we were like, no, we're not dealing with that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has gotten nothing, and it has not gotten better, it only has gotten worse. Since we've moved, it's way worse.
Yeah.
Not to mention, when it comes to safety in these schools.
Yeah.
And not even just in the schools, but just safety around their peers, because somehow minors keep getting a hold of guns, school or not, but most of the news has been, surrounded around school situations, school shootings.
Yeah.
That's just another terrible topic and another terrible thing that is involved in, the whole school situation.
Yeah, and so we didn't want to have to worry about that, even though that wasn't something we were really worried about, but it's something that we knew existed. We were teenagers when Columbine happened, and that's basically the beginning of when this stuff started accelerating. And if you look at any charts that show school shootings and the amount of people injured, the amount of people hurt, it's on an upward slope, and it's like accelerating, like it's almost exponential. So what's gonna make that
it's only gonna get worse.
Plateau and go down? Well, we don't have any type of political unity, so it's not going to be legislative. That's not going to fix anything.
Nope. Too much division for that. They can't come together on that.
People are too, on one side or the other in regards to gun rights or gun control. And
schools don't want to put up metal detectors.
Metal detectors. Unless it's an inner city school.
Which is ridiculous.
Because most of the shootings don't happen in inner city schools.
Right. You should absolutely want metal detectors, but you got people that are just, I don't know, delusional, like fake. They don't want to come to the realization that where they live is really that dangerous.
Right.
Because they feel like, if they see that at the school, it's a reality check that, that school that your kid goes to, they could possibly die and not come home today.
Right.
That's what the look of the metal detector does for them, according to what some people have been expressing. No, I don't want a metal detector. Oh my gosh, it's going to look like this. It ain't about what it looked like. It's about what it actually is. It is dangerous.
Hold on. You said something.
It literally is dangerous.
But America is about what it looks like and what it versus what it actually is.
Right, of course. Oh my gosh. Right, and one of the celebrities said it best. She said, like, the U.S. is basically a third world country wearing a Gucci belt or wearing a Louis Vuitton belt. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's all for show. And it's just like, come on, like, be real.
Yeah.
There are some serious problems that need to be addressed, and people got to stop, or they need to stop acting like things that exist don't exist.
And then they try to blame it on two different things. It's prevalence of guns availability or mental health issues of the perpetrator.
Oh my God.
But the thing is, those are contributing factors. But the thing is, how did this perpetrator become so hate-filled? Probably because they were bullied. Probably because they couldn't fit in. Probably because of all the nice kids that you think are nice, but when they're at school, they're cliquish and they're catty and they're ostracizing people that feel like they don't belong, and then they snap.
Yeah.
Because their parents haven't built in enough resilience into them.
Nope. So it's a very dangerous thing.
Okay, sorry about all this back and forth with the framing, and now our sound is different. We've been having some technical difficulties with all this heat and our equipment, and now we had to move to backup equipment, and now we don't have our mics anymore, so...
And the sun and the shade's been moving, because you know how that goes as the day gets, as it gets later in the day. Your sun, light spots and shade spots move. So that's why we were kind of further back before, and now we're closer because of the whole audio situation.
Hey, but this is... Okay, well, anyway.
Like, subscribe, and share, because you should. No.
Yes, and so we can invest in our channel a bit more as well. But anyway...
and it motivates us to keep things going, because we are busy, we got our children.
And though this...
for us to get done,
and in the end, maybe because this will be a 20 to 25 minute video, it's been a lot more time we've been putting in this just trying to film this. So
so smash that like button and hit the subscribe button, especially if you're new. So let's go.
And back to where we were, I was saying that basically it's not like materialism doesn't exist here in Paraguay, but it's more the exception versus the rule. Versus in the U.S.,
materialism
is a bit more of the rule.
Minimally.
And versus the exception. So it's kind of opposite here in that regard. And so, our kids don't really know anything about the importance of name brands or anything like that.
Because they're not important.
Because they're not important here.
Don't know.
Yeah, people are not doing the fake it till you make it lifestyle here, really, for the most part.
And we aren't either. Even though we're from that society, we don't care about that type of stuff. It doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't.
And yes, we can't afford it for anybody that's just like, oh, maybe you can't afford. Actually, because we have left that society, we actually have a lot more disposable income and savings and stuff like that.
And we're focusing.
That's a whole other topic. It's not anyone's business, but I just wanted to put that out there. That's not the reason. The reason is because it's not important to us.
No, what's more important is making sure that we have long-term financial stability.
That part.
And building an empire for our children to be able to take the reins of.
Absolutely.
That's what we're working on, and that's what's really important. In regards to what you do with your money and what the plans. Money's just a tool.
It's a tool.
What are you trying to do with it? What are you trying to build? What are you trying to achieve?
Not what you're trying to show off with.
Right.
So yeah, we're trying to build and raise upstanding, good-hearted, moral inclined, good-spirited, kind, smart children.
Right.
And I think we're excelling in that so far.
I think so.
And with God's grace and help, we'll continue to do so. That's what we're trying to do. Steer them in the right direction and give them the things and tools in life that they need to be a good individual on the inside before anything on the outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the things we've mentioned so far are more the relatively speaking, are the more innocuous things. Mm-hmm. But you really got to think about the more...
That pretty bird. I think it's a hummingbird.
Oh wow, it is a hummingbird.
Just got caught in the frame.
That's cool.
Oh, it's so pretty. It was green.
Yeah, it matches my other shirt. They got green hummingbirds on it.
Yeah, I just saw that. Okay, keep going.
Okay, well, anyway. All right, so I mean,
so cute.
what's really pressing, and that has to do with, just the violence and school shootings and whatnot. I don't think there's ever going to be a real solution in the United States because there's too much division in regards to what to do.
Right.
You got one side saying gun control, you got another side saying mental health. But honestly, it has to do with how society operates and how people are made to feel othered or ostracized or not allowed in the group because of material goods or how they look or stuff like that. There's so much judgment that goes on and so much cliquish behavior that goes on amongst
the whole society.
Yeah,
not
but especially in schools, and that's in my opinion the majority contributing factor is the broken social constructs amongst our society, which then leads to people having mental issues, which then leads to people seeking guns that are easily accessible. Guns have always been relatively easily accessible in the United States.
People haven't been hurting each other in this type of way, right? In this type of way, in this type of amount.
Right, and why is mental health such a big topic, in today's age amongst people? Why? Because society is toxic.
That part.
Society is toxic, and there's a lot of financial pressure from the corporations and stuff like that really control the place.
Right.
So when you add all this stuff up together, it's not a super surprise that things are happening the way they're happening.
Unfortunately, it's not a big surprise. It's just a terribly unfortunate situation that seems like, I don't know, it just seems like it's going to keep spiraling out of control because nobody as a whole anyways wants to really do anything to make things better. Socially, they don't want to address it. Everybody, want to give these names and there's these labels and there's this, all this stuff to coddle to people's issues that need to be addressed. But instead of the actual addressing problems, there's these, these little soft names that things get called because it's considered like a crime to call something out for what it really is. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. We ain't gonna talk on that subject right now. Yeah. But you call something what it really is, like, no, that's not what it is. It's actually fill in the blank, the soft version of it. And like people aren't really addressing what the problem is. So it's a lot of problems though with the state of the society, and it just, like I said, it don't seem like there's no way for it really to get better because so many people are divided. Yeah. So we touched on a few things. We touched on, school. We touched on societal issues, financial issues. Just one second before you move on to that, I wanted to talk about just the topic of morals back to societal issues. The other thing that makes societal issues such an issue is just the fact that there seems to be a lack of morals. Yeah. Period. And once upon a time, the United States used to be founded on moral principles, specifically the Bible.
Bible-based,
specifically, you know, God and Jesus. That it wasn't a crime to say that at school. They used to have prayer in school at a point. There used to be there was prayer, there was the Pledge of Allegiance, there was even discipline in the school once upon a time. Just like at the top of our money, it says, "In God we trust." There has always been, as far as in the beginning, when the founding fathers founded the United States, it's always been an inclusion of God. And now he's completely out. And I know there's people that's watching that, you know, they may be atheists or they may be of different denominations, wherever you're watching from, or whatever your background is. You may have, you know, different views or whatever, but the truth is the truth. This is how that is how the country that we're from was founded on, and these type of problems wasn't happening in the schools. It wasn't happening with the children. People didn't have this level of depression and low self-esteem and low self-worth to where they had to go out and try to find validation in items just to fit in with cliques at school, to again, to feel like something so that they can have friends. And it's just like, it's terrible. It's just been terrible. So I don't know. They need to bring, I do know, they need to bring God back into schools.
Well, society
needs to bring God back into the schools, or
God needs to be back in society.
God into the whole society. I'm sorry, I'm saying it wrong. Look, I'm hot. My mind getting warm. My mind hot. So my thoughts are going all over the place. I'm starting to tweak out too. Bump our technical difficulties. I'm getting tired. We're gonna end this video.
Physical, biological difficulties going on.
Right, we got to end the video.
We're not from this hot a place. From Michigan. It is cold right now there.
Right. But I'm still glad not to be living there. We visit, but we don't want to live there. So yeah, it would be wonderful if God was implemented back into society, but we know that's not going to happen. But that's one of the things that we believe is one of the bigger problems, one of the underlying problems that people don't want to talk about, that people don't want to acknowledge as part of the problem.
Well, I mean, in general, Republicans do want to acknowledge that and implement that, especially Trump with what he's trying to do. But that's still,
but
there's so much division and pushback. That's not something that's really going to happen. And if it does happen, it's going to happen for a season, and then the pendulum will swing the other way.
I know, that's what I was about to say. With politics, though, it just gets ugly and convoluted and whatever. But at the same time, that's the only way. It would have to be through some type of legislation, and that's not going to happen. You got to have your... It has to be ways, it has to be the right way that it would happen too. It can't just be, okay, we're going to just do this one thing and put prayer back in school. Just go do it. Has to be, it's a whole process.
It has to be a unification amongst the people.
Right. And we don't believe that's going to happen. But again, we're just giving our opinion based off of, you know, how once upon a time, how things were, and look how messy and ugly and evil things are today.
Absolutely.
And I do truly believe God, and not just God in like the word alone. I'm talking about the biblical principles and all of that. All of that being just done away with, and you can't say God, don't say this, don't say that. Like all of that mess, I believe that has really made the U.S. flush down the toilet the way it's been. Yeah,
and that's and what we're seeing with all of the how society is basically fracturing at different points is the chickens are coming home to roost now.
That part. There we go. So so that's it in a long nutshell. In a big nutshell, we didn't want to raise our kids in all of that mess that we just described. And
then we know that there's a lot of people our age, our peers, that are afraid or apprehensive to have children, if they're even fortunate enough to have a spouse or even a mate now.
Right.
Because they're worried about.
That's not even getting married.
Because they're worried about what is the economy going to be like for my children? I can't even pay for my own apartment now.
That's what people are saying.
So another thing that played into it, it's not like back 8 years ago we were having financial difficulties or anything. Like we were good, but looking at where our children would be.
We were just thinking about what can happen. Looking at what we already know was happening, we were like, okay, we can kind of see, how things are going to spiral out of control.
Yeah, how it's going to play out. The debt was way lower, but still ridiculous back then. Now it's to the point where the national debt I'm talking about.
Yes.
It's at the point where the interest we pay just to service the debt, not pay any principal, but is more than we spend annually on the military.
Oh my God.
So the most powerful country in the world, the most richest country in the world, that combined with recruitment standards being lowered and recruitment goals still not being hit for our armed services, that doesn't bode well for the future of the country.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So again, that's one of many of the reasons as to why we were like, you know what, we just got to get out of here altogether. But the number one thing was just the future of our children.
Yeah.
So as always, thank you guys for watching. We definitely got to stop this video. So please hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, share this video. We've been out here melting for you guys. So go ahead and hit the like button, y'all. And let us know what you think about the things we talked about. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao.
Peace and nos vemos.
Hey, what up though? This is Ramon from the Paradise in Paraguay YouTube channel. I'm here to give you the scoop on being black and living in Paraguay for about $1,000 a month. So, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about myself, my family, and our channel. Well, generally when you see me on YouTube, I'm with my beautiful, wonderful wife, Paradise. I'm currently traveling on business. I'm away from home, so y'all just gonna have to deal with me right now. But anyway, about 10 years ago, my wife and my then infant son and we moved from Michigan to Paraguay, and since then we've had 2 more children, 2 beautiful daughters, and we have been enjoying the experience and the adventure ever since. We feel it's one of the best things we've ever done. Our YouTube channel basically goes along and basically shows what our experiences are like, and we're trying to inspire people to do things a bit outside the box if they've been intimidated to do so. So we're trying to, you know, inspire and help people. In addition to that, we've recently started consultation and concierge services for people who are really interested in Paraguay specifically, to help them get prepared, get in the right mindset, and actually make the move, gain residency and acclimate. Whether it's getting a house, car, all that stuff, we offer all those services. So that's what our channel centers about. So some of the pros living in Paraguay. First of all, people are wonderful. They're patient, they're kind, they're humble. They're just very welcoming and warm. The people of Paraguay, they are like the #1 asset in Paraguay. On piggybacking off of that, a lot of our melanated brothers and sisters, when they're looking for a new place, they're concerned about racism. Understandable. We know the history and all that stuff. That's not something you're gonna have to worry too much about here in Paraguay. From our own experience, our skin tone and our hair texture, even though I got more straight hair, but my family, they got more curly hair. Those have been assets more than liabilities here in Paraguay. People are attracted to us in a positive way because of that. So that has been quite refreshing. The cost of living. Now, our cost of living as a family of 5 here in Paraguay is very low, about a little over $1,000 a month. If you are a single person, couple, small family, you can easily live in Paraguay for about $1,000 a month or less. But that also is going to be contingent upon where you stay in Paraguay. The most expensive and largest city is the capital, Asuncion. We stay outside of Asuncion where the rent is lower. Asuncion has the highest rent. So that's gonna, dictate that. So cities around Asuncion where the rent is very accessible is gonna be Luque, Lambaré, Fernando de la Mora, San Lorenzo, Capiatá, Yembu, places like that. Additionally, if you don't want to live around Asuncion, you want to live, say, close to Brazil, Encarnacion might be a good place. You'll also have access to a lot of nice beaches there as well. Food is really high quality and tastes good here. A lot of the food is raised in a more old-fashioned manner, so it's just higher quality, really low price as well. The weather is very, very, very temperate in regards to just being very warm/hot most of the time. In winter, it can get as low as 40 degrees at night. So in that same day, it's going to be 60, 70, 80 degrees during the daytime, maybe even 90. So weather's great if you like warm weather. Cons, If you don't like hot weather, well, that's going to be a con, because in addition to the almost constant warm weather, there's a lot of hot weather as well. We're talking about getting into 105, 106, 107 degrees, you know, sometimes for days on end during the summer. But that comes with lack of cold weather. Lack of English. Not a lot of English speakers here in Paraguay, so if you're not, you know, really open to learning another language, Spanish principally, that's gonna be an issue. Additionally, since Paraguay is just off the beaten path, there's just actually not a lot of black people here. So if you're looking for a place to have a melanated community, that's gonna be a bit of a challenge here in Paraguay. And that could be a con for you, or it could be neutral, or it could even be a pro. It just really depends on what you're looking for. It wasn't really something that affected us much. That was more of a neutral thing, because we have built a community here in Paraguay for us to belong to, because the people are just so wonderful. It's just easy to do here. So again, the asset of the people in Paraguay just make it so we haven't even felt like we needed a melanated community or whatnot. So anyway, that's the scoop on Paraguay. Peace and nos vemos.
Strawberries, kiwis, and what they call chantilly, which is Cool Whip. Yum, yum, yum. Woo!
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, Paradise in Paraguay, where this is our paradise. Also, make sure to like us and follow us on our Facebook fan page, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Paradise in Paraguay. And while you're here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode.
It's too early.
And party!
We actually got to go downstairs.
The model of an apartment building that's going to be connected to this mall that's on the way. They got a model of it in the middle of the mall. That is so cool. Okay. Oh, they got Bath and Body Works, American Eagle, New Balance. That's what's up.
All right, so actually to get to the garage, we gotta go down.
Okay, well, let's go. Oh, the escalator. Going down. The beautiful terraza. And there it is. Pretty. Qué hermosa. All the pretty. Tropical oasis. Qué hermoso. Okay, let's go. Let's go this way. Italian restaurant. Let's see what else. Okay, so that is La Cabrera. Alright, let's go across the bridge. Oh no, we're going down the stairs. Here wasn't no water running. We did some upgrades. That's what's up. You always love upgrades. It's always great. Okay, where we going? Nice. Peruvian food right there. Okay. Okay, so we that bacon steakhouse. The steakhouse called Bacon. Okay, we made it to beautiful El Cate de Acá. And there are several locations of this particular restaurant. Like I said, we're at the Paseo de Galeria Mall, so this is the one that's in here. Really good food.
It's delicious.
Yummy, yummy.
It's the best meal in the world. The best.
You want to record That is too cool. Oh my gosh. Wow. Jolly Run for our anniversary dinner. Look at these giant leaves. They look fake. No, look. Real stems, and that's real water. First I thought it was like that jelly stuff, but it's not. It's really water like this. These are real, they're so beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Aww. We're having a good time. Kitties. They're in their own little world. Okay. Okay, I guess we stay here and wait for our waiter.
I'm guessing so.
Aw, muchas gracias.
It's our anniversary.
Para nuestra aniversario.
I want some too.
Aww. Nice.
Oh wow, I just noticed the plates are in like cool little weird shapes.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, well we all get to eat it together.
Look at that. Aww. This was brought to us at the end of our dinner. That's so sweet. Okay, so we're just walking around this giant hotel, and look at this beautiful view out the window. All of that beautiful green. Look at that. Wow. This is beautiful.
over there.
Is it over there?
Yep, that's Del Sol.
So beautiful. I'm just loving all these trees here.
Oh
Yeah, you said Asuncion is
It's known as the greenest
known
capital.
as, yeah, the greenest capital in the world. Thanks for coming to our YouTube channel, Paradise in Paraguay, where this is our paradise. Also, make sure to follow us and like us on our Facebook fan page, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Paradise in Paraguay. And make sure to hit that subscribe button to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, hey you guys, welcome back to another episode of Paradise in Paraguay, where this is our paradise. Yeah. Oh man, so I know it's been a while, but we are back. We are happy, we are excited, and we got another baby on the way. In case you did not see my update, the video that I made before this one. But yeah, it's been a while. At that time, I think I was only a few months pregnant. But right now, I am 9 months pregnant, so I'm at the end, yeah. Sort of.
It can happen at any moment.
Sort of. I'm 37 weeks right now, you guys. And drum roll, it's a girl. So we're really excited about that. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update in regards to that. But yeah, but today we are coming at you to give you guys some information that I know you guys have been waiting on forever. But you know, life happens. But anyways, we're back, and today we are going to finally tell you guys why we left the United States in the first place. Finally.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Okay, so in the general sense, we left because we wanted a
a less stressful, more traditional, more peaceful, and family-focused lifestyle.
Basically.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
As my wife had already mentioned, well, we are growing our family, and this is our second child. And essentially, this idea pretty much started with the birth of our first child, our son, who is playing over there.
Yeah, he's here. He's playing.
He's over there playing, so mommy and daddy can make the video. But anyway, so this was something that we really hadn't planned for a long time at all.
No.
We essentially came up with it. Well, I came up with the idea right after our son was born. I kind of got snapped into this different dimension, or just things became way more apparent of what's more important to me. And so after that point, I immediately told my wife, I really don't want us to raise our family and our children here anymore. Well, at least in the we were still in the United States, of course. I don't want to raise our family, our children here anymore. And so she wasn't really hearing it initially.
No, at first she was saying that basically we should move.
Yeah, we should move. We should leave the United States. And she was not listening, not hearing it at all. So it took a good couple of months for me to get through to her, for her to start looking into the different things I was pointing out to her, different links I would send her on the internet, and different videos and whatnot. Just kind of getting her to realize
that things in the States was just going south.
Yes.
On so many different levels. That's basically what he's trying to say.
Yeah, essentially, yes. And so
and that's why the whole idea came up, as far as us moving out of the country. That's why it came up. We were just being attentive to everything that was going on, social-wise, cost of living-wise, safety-wise, just a lot of different things. We're going to get into more of that in a minute, but that's pretty much how it came up. We were just looking at, again, the downslope of the United States.
And so let's get into a little bit about our prior lifestyle that we had in the United States. It's not like we were down and out or felt like we had no way to attain what it was we wanted to in life.
But nothing like that. We were doing very good.
Yeah, we were doing very well. We both were very gainfully employed and making good money, solidly middle class, working class folks.
Several vehicles.
Yeah, several vehicles
nice
that we owned. At the time we were renting a nice house in a nice neighborhood, and in the process of actually we were looking to buy a house. We already had a good pre-approval.
We had good credit. We had a good amount of savings, especially for our age group.
Yes.
And race. Unfortunately, a lot of people that are our race, have some issues. But for our age and race, we were doing we were considered to have been doing very, very well.
Yes, but the reality of the matter is that when we saw the fact that we were having children and how much care and time we wanted to put into raising them, there was going to be a conflict in regards to work-life balance. And one of the reasons being the cost of living in the United States. If you want to live in a relatively safe and secure place and raise a family, it's not exactly inexpensive for most working class people. So that was something that was kind of a conflict for us. Also, before we even had a child, we had been married for 3 years because after we got married, we decided we wanted to just focus on married life. Excuse me. We just wanted to focus on married life for a while without children, because we understood that marriage can be, it can take a lot of effort, because it's generally, in any good marriage, it's a series of compromises from both sides, and we wanted to focus on, it's a brand new transition. You go from living your own lives to merging your lives together. So we wanted to focus on our marriage, and so for the first 3 years of our marriage, we did that, and so we went on several, at least 2 trips a year, and generally those trips were international trips, and so we had been to a fair amount of places in the Caribbean and in Mexico, and also to Central America. And one common thread that we noticed in all those places were that generally the regular people didn't have as much money, income, or material things, but generally they just seemed a bit happier and a little less stressed and more carefree. And so that was also something that played a large influence in our decision to leave.
To move internationally,
Because
not just within the U.S.
Because we realized that there are people that live way simpler, less material filled lifestyles but they seem to have everything that they really need and what's most important to them, what they want out of life.
And yet they make a lot less money.
Right, and live with a lot less stuff. So that was something. It's like, well, we have all these different things that in the U.S. we have opened our eyes to, which are not as ideal for raising a family. There's got to be another place somewhere on this planet that will mesh better with what our goals are for our family life. And we were able to find that through a lot of research.
Right. But again, before the research, just our experiences of our international travel, that alone is what really helped us to open our eyes to being open to possibly living in a tropical place like places we visited.
Absolutely.
I guess you could tell them what the places we visited.
Yeah, I mean, we've been to Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, various parts of Mexico, Nicaragua, and I think that's it so far. I mean, we've been, you know,
as far as tropical places.
Yeah, tropical and Latin American and Caribbean places. We've also been to Canada, of course. Being from Michigan, if you haven't been to Canada, it's kind of odd because it's so close.
And we travel within the
and then we've been to plenty of states within the contiguous United States. So we're pretty well traveled, and we've seen a lot of different things and have a broader perspective than most people, especially people our age. So
but nothing compared to the lifestyle and the tranquility that we saw and felt when we were overseas. When we crossed the international border, that's when, you know, things really just
I guess it broadened our horizons of a different type of lifestyle. Yeah.
Different people, the different cultures, different languages. It was beautiful.
And actually, back when we were taking
different.
these vacations, these different trips and whatnot, every once in a while we might think, oh wow, wouldn't it be nice to own a place here? And you know, one day when we retire, because we were still in the mindset that we had to go through things the way that they typically are gone through in the United States. But those were like little seeds.
College, debt, get a job for somebody, work there 30, 40 years, and then you can retire when you're old, and then you can live your life. It was, you know, that's not what we wanted, but
that was the mindset we had back then. Yeah. But you know,
we're like, no, we're gonna change all that up. Why? Because we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So
once you realize that, you know, that's powerful.
Other things that in regards to that played a part in us leaving were included societal problems. It seems that nowadays there's this kind of anything goes attitude in regards to what's acceptable in our society, and I say sometimes it seems like society is going off the rails.
Like morals just aren't intact.
Yeah.
And we just knew there were other places besides the States where morals probably still are intact.
Absolutely.
So that was something we wanted. That was something we were looking for.
In addition to that, there's the economy and the system and society in general operates off of consumerism. There's this massive amount of consumerism that everyone's pretty much, not everyone, but a lot of people are caught up in, and that's how our society actually functions. If people stop being conspicuous consumers, the economy...
materialistic.
Right, the economy essentially stops, or at least it ceases to grow. And with this being a growth-based country, and most westernized developed countries are growth-based countries, but they're developed, and that means they're already kind of where they want to be. Of course, there's always room to grow, but that growth is not something that can always stay constant, because when you have issues with the economy and people are a little bit tied up and can't spend more money on things that they really don't need, the economy slows down and the recessions happen, just like we had about a decade ago.
Exactly. Phones stop being bought and all that crazy stuff.
Right, and the cost of living is just continuing to rise. And wages are rising, but not nearly as fast as the cost of living. So it's putting a lot of pressure on folks like us, just normal working class people. So that's one thing. Violent crime is generally something you've always got to be concerned of when you live in any type of large city or metropolitan area, or even not, because there's all types of mass shootings that happen in all types of different settings. So, you know, it's whether you're talking about mass shootings at the workplace or at school, churches or sporting events or movie theaters, or just the general terrorist attacks, or just general crime that comes along with the city with the gangs and drug problems and whatnot. Violent crime is something you got to be really concerned about in the United States, unless you live out.
It's such a high level of it. We're not saying that there's no violent crime in other places or even where we decided to go, but it's nowhere near on the level of frequency and grandeur as in the United States.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's other countries, but we didn't move there.
We did our due diligence.
Exactly.
Research for a reason.
Also, we are concerned about the broken, or at least the apparently broken, educational system. Those of you who are in tune about how the educational system has been devolving, it's been kind of more of teach kids how to pass the test, because there's so many standardized examinations and whatnot, and they're not really teaching children how to solve problems or how to think critically.
Everything just about testing, so we weren't on board with that.
So,
for our school system.
Yeah, and even before we decided to move out of the country, we were already thinking we wanted to homeschool our children. And that was part of the reason why there was such a conflict with how much time we'd be able to devote to our raising our family and working to pay all the bills. Right. Even though we were very, very good with our finances, it still was a concern to us. And we felt like we could make a move to make our lives way more free in regards to how we wouldn't have to pay so much of our income, or have to have so much income just to have the necessities of life. And then also, it's not just the systems that are broken in regards to the type of education they offer, because I'm sure there's lots of other great schools and private schools and whatnot that offer.
There's no good schools. Of course, there are some.
Right, they offer more of a traditional education or problem-solving based education, but a lot of private schools are expensive, and when you're a working-class family, it can be quite a bit. In addition to that, from my impression that I get from just observing children and talking to people who have children in different types of school systems, whether they're urban, suburban, or private, these kids are getting more and more ill-mannered. And generally, from my experience as a child,
family orientated anymore either.
Yeah, generally, as I was a child, most of the stupid or dumb things that I did were influenced by my peers. So, you know, that was another thing about, you know, the just who's going to be influencing my child when we take them, put them in any of these school systems, when in general, the kids just seem to be getting a little bit worse and worse every year.
Yeah, behavior-wise and all of that.
Right. We also another thing we're concerned of, just basically the general disregarding of God that society tends to be doing right now. It seems like that's a trend. We're born-again Christians, and we do take our faith seriously and try to live by the Bible as best that we can. And it just seems like it's getting more and more difficult to do that. Not for us, but generally when society has a certain trend, that's what can influence young minds. And we were really, really mostly concerned about our children. So we wanted to move to a place that just regarded God a bit more. And so we went to a place that does so. And that's one of the reasons we believe that it seems as if morals seem to be on a pretty severe decline right now.
So that was another turn off for us, as we were just kind of looking and and thinking about everything that was going on in the country that we were from.
And
are from.
right, and then also because of a lot of the consumerism, materialism, and the high cost of living just to get the necessities, it seems that family and interpersonal communication within families seem to be on a decline as well, and that is what we believe plays a major part in why the children are not as well mannered as they have been historically, at least from our impression. So in addition to that, I don't think we need to go into much of this, but there are a lot of political problems going on in the United States right now. There's so much division politically, and I don't want to necessarily get too far into what side I'm on, or what side we're on, or what side you're on. Because honestly, the whole system just seems to be taking the route of divide and conquer, where it's taking the people and dividing us up and trying to put us against each other, while the real issues that are important are pretty much ignored. So,
that was a big concern.
That was a big concern also. Yeah. I'm not going to say we left because of the election of President Trump, because honestly, we had already moved to another country before he even won the primary, when most people weren't even taking him seriously, including us.
So, in case you were wondering, no, we did not move because of Trump.
No.
In particular.
No.
He's a symptom, we feel, of a lot of the bad things that's going on, but he was not our main motivator.
No.
All the different things that we just mentioned were our motivators.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when we witnessed the election of President Trump from our new home, we kind of took that as a confirmation that perhaps we made a very good choice to leave the United States.
Yes.
Because
can I say something?
Yeah, sure,
all
sure.
the naysayers at the time, who were again naysaying the fact that that we shouldn't leave and all of that, their mind shifted obviously at that time. They were like, "Oh my gosh, y'all made a great decision. How did y'all know?" And y'all got out right just in time, and we were like, "Okay." We didn't leave because of him, but thanks. Thanks for the acknowledgement that you realize that what we did is not so crazy and all of this and the other. But I just want to throw that in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We also left because of the various economic problems that are apparent and seem to be built into our society and our system. As I mentioned, with the consumerism-based society, if people don't continue to consume things that they really don't need, when people are short on money or short on credit, which tends to happen on a cyclical basis, then the economy tends to fall apart. And so we feel it's an unsustainable economy, especially with our society is essentially debt-based. All these municipalities, all the states, the federal government, they don't seem to be able to operate without extreme deficits and debts.
And more and more and more of it.
Right.
Constantly.
We're not paying it down. It's going up and up and up. And if you're, a user of a credit card and you had any problems with that, then you know that as you build more and more debt, it gets harder and harder to pay off because you're paying more and more interest than principal. And that's essentially what's going on a very large scale with our nation, from the federal level all the way down to the local level. And it's also it's also happening on a corporate level as well. And those are at I think record highs right now, the amount of corporate debt.
Yes.
So there's a lot of debt, and generally when there's a lot of debt and not a lot of cash, it becomes very unsustainable. So that's another thing we're concerned about, the extreme amounts of debt that the country operates on.
2008 to happen.
Right, and so we believe that there will be another recession soon, and we wanted to get out of that cycle. Anybody that was of working age or had a retirement account or anything that had it through the last recession, you know what we're talking about in regards to how much of your accounts or how much of your property or what have you lost or went down, or how many people were foreclosed on. We decided we wanted to get into a more necessity-based society that is more resistant to when consumerism goes down.
Exactly.
So that was another reason we left. Also,
this place definitely fit the bar for that.
exactly. Hold on for a moment. Yeah, another thing, compared to where we have chosen to live, the taxes in the United States are very high as well. And so when you combine the fact that there seems to be a lot of budget deficits and shortfalls to deal with everything, including our failing infrastructure, the only place we're going to get that money is from taxes. So even though, you know, one political side wants to lower taxes for corporations and more wealthier folks, and you know, another side wants to raise taxes to pay for things, in the end, more revenue has to be generated. It has to be. Mathematically, there's no other way. So somebody's going to get their taxes raised, whether it's corporations or and people at the upper echelon of income, or the regular everyday people, and the working class. And recently, with the current political climate, that tax burden has been falling onto the more modestly income middle class. So that was another thing we wanted to get away from. On top of that, the food in the United States is very expensive if you want to eat healthy. A lot of the food is industrialized and tampered with to make it more profitable or more shelf stable. Yes. And so there's a lot of different things you're eating in your food that you might not want to eat if you want to be very, very health conscious.
And because, if you really knew what was in it.
Right, and if you really knew what was in it, exactly. So if you want to eat more healthily, generally you have to be making a fairly higher than average amount of money, especially if you have a family or a growing family. And so that was another thing we wanted to get away from and go to a place where the food tended to be more natural and more affordable. Also,
hold on, what was the joke about Whole Foods?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, whole paycheck, right? Exactly, yeah.
Whole Foods equals whole paycheck.
Yeah, Whole Foods equals whole paycheck. That's where we live. That's not something that we have to be nearly as concerned about. Also, the extremely high cost of dental and medical care, at least relative to where we live. If you don't have a very, very good job that gives you a very, very good medical plan, then your health care coverage, especially if you have a growing family, is not low. People have to budget a very significant amount for health care coverage. And before we left, we had very, very good health care coverage.
We did, and we were blessed.
We were very blessed to have that. But we know that that's not the reality for most Americans. And we also knew that with these cyclical recessions, that might not be the reality for us forever.
Not forever, yeah.
So we wanted to get to a place where the medical care and dental care is easily more attainable, and we'll get into how much easier it is to attain medical and health care where we live, and we don't even have health insurance.
We don't need it.
And we don't need it.
There's free public health care here.
Yes. And we're talking about having a baby and paying out of pocket. And so
we have a choice. Yes, there's private hospitals and stuff like that as well, but even with that, the cost is so low compared to where we're from.
It's laughable.
It is.
You'll see what we're talking about when we get into that in another video. So I mean,
we love it. It's amazing.
Yes. Now, so essentially, those are the main reasons why we decided to leave the United States of America and put us in a mindset to start finding a place that would be more suitable to what we wanted out of life.
Right. And so after we decided that, yes, we do want to move, of course we have to decide where
and when are we going to go and all of that. But we're going to get into those details in another video. But on this one, we just wanted to cover, why we left the U.S. in the first place.
Absolutely. So I hope that this video wasn't too long. There's a lot of information that we had to share because we know that people want to know, like, they don't understand why people in the United States before the election of Trump, and still now, even after the election of Trump, did not understand, and there's a lot of reasons, and so that's why this video is so long. And then also where we moved, a lot of people don't understand because the image they have of the United States is just basically based off of the media, which
and
actually
movies and stuff like that, that's not really realistic.
Right, and a lot of that media we actually get down here. We get movies that we can watch in the theaters. We get a lot of the U.S. channels.
Yeah.
We get a lot of the U.S. music. So the U.S. media is a very dominant force, but it only provides a glimpse or a very curated glimpse of the United States, which is not realistic for the vast majority of people. So people down here don't understand either.
Like, why are you Americans here? And we're like, why not? You guys don't get, you don't understand what you got. Not appreciate, but they don't. Yeah, they can't look at it from our point of view, but they don't see it. They just don't see it the way that we see it. They don't understand. No, I don't want to say they don't understand what they have. Well, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't understand how good they have it here
relative to the lifestyle in the United States, because they don't know the full truth. They just know what the shows and the movies show.
Because things in the U.S. look nice, but underneath the veil, it's it's a hot mess, and in a lot of different ways. So, but people that's on the outside don't know that, and so we have to explain that to people and get them to understand why we felt it was necessary, or why not necessary, but why we wanted to leave the United States and move to a different place. Okay, he's okay. We're checking on our son.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Not at the moment. So again, we will get back with you guys on another video as to how
we chose where to go. Paraguay.
Yeah, South America, and how we chose Paraguay. What we like about here and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
We already we gave them a little bit when we were talking about the healthcare system.
Yeah. We gave you a sneak peek. Yep. Oh, and then we'll also get, in an additional video, we'll also get into how we actually physically transitioned from the United States to a foreign country, Paraguay, because
that wasn't easy.
Yes, but the most difficult part actually was the mental part. After we made the decision, everything after that was physically difficult, but it was way easier after making the decision. The hardest part
was that mental hurdle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that pretty much wraps up this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Again, so I'm 9 months pregnant, y'all, so pray for me. But please like this video and
subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment if you have any questions, or if you just want to say what's on your mind.
Or say hello.
Yeah, or say hello, whatever. Do that. And we will see you guys on the next video.
Okay.
So
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao, as they say here. Bye.
Come on, bring it over here. Come on over here.
Come on. You got your car? You want to say hi to the people?
Say hi.
Hi.
You say hola.
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 ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo está?
Yay, look at the camera. Hi to the people. Look at the camera.
Hi.
He's like, those are the people. That's the phone.
Right.
Here's the
He's
people
looking
over
at
there.
real people over there, right? We just wanted to put our little big boy into the frame for a second.
The main reason why we even left the United States, or at least what made us snap into this different reality of mindset.
Yeah. And that made us start looking at life differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Where's your move? Let's get a week.
Burgers.
Oh yeah, triple burger.
Potato wedges. Woo, 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 woo.
Providing for the family, but I saw my parents tsunamis or volcanoes or anything. Well, let me check the geographic. So, okay, no, there's no tectonic plate edges around here. Okay.
Tectonic plate. Yeah, geographical safety was A. That was kind of like at the top.
Fancy gas
gas
station.
station. Yeah.
Look at this.
That's what's up. It's like having a Nike gas station. Like, where they do that? Who does it? Where they
The
do
Radio
that?
Shack. It's too late though.
Oh, did they finish it? Hey, it looked like they finished it.
Tomato, the mom, tomato. Oh, the nice new entrance. That is very pretty.
Christmas
Aw,
time.
Christmas tree, that's beautiful. Yeah, they have been working on that. They have been working on that for some months now, so now they're finally finished with that new updated entrance to the mall. That was very pretty. And this is where we're going to eat tonight. Food house. That is Guanani, y'all. Bayabunda. So we about to get a spot, find a parking spot if we can. It is super packed here. No worries, no spots, no spots. Super packed here, so we about to eat. Oh my gosh, oh, we found somewhere to sit.
Oh yeah, it was
All of
packed
those
in there.
people.
Wow.
All the tables look like they're...
Look, California sign.
All the tables look like they are, yikes. 5 of us, so I hope we find a spot. But we about to get our eat on. I'll
Yeah.
be back to show you what our food look like. Deuces.
Mommy, wait. Daddy, show me.
Yeah, it's fully super crowded. Let me see it. Put it in the...
Yeah.
Mamito Arabe.
You said yummy, yummy
Big fat
again.
juicy burger.
Oh yeah, triple burger.
Potato wedges. Woo,
Yep,
woo, woo,
yep.
woo, woo. It's like all of the American restaurants all grouped together. Subway can't see me, but I'm just behind this Burger King.
The Pizza Hut's over there by itself though.
Pizza Hut, yeah. But yay, there's Subway, Subway Paraguay.
Subway, you got Paraguay.
They got fries, like you just pointed out.
Yep.
So there's fries here. We don't see any chips on the menu.
Nope.
So that's one difference.
Subway, they got their cookies.
Yeah, they brought the cookies. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah, I think they got a few. I don't know.
Yeah, the sandwiches though. They're pretty good. They're pretty good there.
I don't know if those are the same exact sandwiches they got in the U.S. 'cause they just redid their menu recently.
I don't either, because when we're in the States, I don't really go grab that. Whoa, 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 look at all the people. Oh, that was quick. Whoa, you got it! Oh, our first banana tree harvest. Our first harvest from our homegrown banana tree. Wow, look at that! Oh, the neighbors gonna be happy because we can't eat them. Oh, look at that. She already told us to make it happen. Woohoo! Oh.
Wow, look at this one. That one's cool. Wow.
Oh, nice.
It just look like a big church. Yeah, I've never been this way.
So pretty. It's like a big, beautiful green oasis. Fancy. Very nice.
Soldado Desconocido is the name of it. Soldado Desconocido.
These houses look much bigger than the one we have.
Really interested in Paraguay or moving to Paraguay or just moving to another country.
Or you just want to ask us questions about living here because it's interesting to you.
Yeah, just want some one-on-one time. We are offering one-on-one consultations. Yes. So, we've had people asking us to do this. So we're finally just getting to the point where we can dedicate a bit of time to try to organize putting this together. So that's what we're doing. So we go by the hour.
The details will be in the description box.
Yep.
You go jump! Don't stop! Go! Wow! Wow! You're jumping!
Strawberry basket toast.
Solo tú me sigues al ritmo de la pista y no me veo como chica de revista. Baby, conmigo a ti se te va la vista. Puedo quemarte solo con una pizca.
Wow, so many strawberries. Hi, honey, I'm coming.
Hi, Mommy.
Hey, honey. I'm ready to pick some strawberries. Woo! We got a little basket. I got my basket. Elijah.
Hi.
Ooh, the wind's blowing. Okay.
Look
Got my
at these
basket.
strawberries.
Gracias.
It's basically
That's super small.
Okay, bathroom first, and then we go pick some strawberries.
Mommy, do you have a Mommy sent out?
Unas frutillas delicias. Woo! And babe, show again on camera
I get
how to
it.
pull it
I
properly.
did it. Look.
Okay, so I just grabbed the stem
I did it.
and then I just
Mommy,
pulled it
I
from
did
the
it.
stem.
I put it in my
And I see. Oh,
basket.
nice. All right, put that in the
Oh, I got
basket.
my strawberries.
Good job,
Babe,
Elijah.
if you want to see it again, babe, here.
Yep.
Look, I'm gonna
Jasmine, look at Daddy.
grab. Jazzy, look.
Look.
Watch Daddy do it.
Yeah, I got the stem with one hand
I
and I pull it with the other. Well,
Okay, cool. Cool, cool. So I guess I'll get these.
I got this one.
good job.
Okay, so I popped them.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead, put it in.
Go, Jazzy. Let's see yours.
Some big ones.
Not with
Get that one.
Get it, Mama.
This one.
I was going to say, kitty.
Ah.
Yay!
Don't throw it in there.
Let me see. What you got? You don't want to be in this aisle? You want to go to the next one? Good job. What you got so far?
I have 4.
EJ.
I got strawberries and I have a whole.
Let's keep going. This one. Ooh, look at that one.
Mommy, look at this one. It's small.
It's so
but
pretty.
It's bright red. See?
This is a nice bright red one too. I'm recording mine. Hold on. Let me see yours.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Whoa, super bright red.
Get some little ones.
Wait. Daddy, is this safe?
Baskets together. Get it, y'all. Get it.
Oh. Strawberry.
There it is. Oops.
Oh, Daddy, can you try to get this one? I'm too far away.
You're so sweet. You found a flower for mommy.
Yeah?
Thank you, sweetie pie. You're so sweet. I love you.
Daddy, this one looks great. Look at it. It's so. That looks silly. Mom, look what this one's so big and juicy.
Leave it there. I'm trying to make it focus on it. There it is. Beautiful.
Strawberry.
Wow.
Daddy, it's fun.
Let me get all of this. Wow. So at the end of it all, this is all of the strawberries. All of the strawberries. Woo. I'm wondering how much is this going to cost.
So in the end, guys, all of these strawberries actually ended up being under $10.
Party time! Party time! We're gonna get a picture. Woo! Hey, to turn off. Oh, look, you guys, look at mommy.
Wait a minute, you about to get on there with them?
Yeah, Elijah getting up too. I know. I just wanted to get this. Aww. Woo! at y'all. Look up. Look up, you guys. Don't be scared. Woo, smile. I'm getting a video right now. I want a picture, though, with us in there. Yeah, don't be scared, Elijah. Yeah, just hold on. Yeah, go slow. He's going slow. We gotta take, you see, un photo, por favor. Woo! Wow! Wow! Look at them, their first pony ride. Oh my gosh. Let me get them from the side. That part, yes, yes, definitely. Hey y'all, can you wave, Elijah? Can you wave, Soraya? Don't be scared, wave, Jazzy. Woo! Wow. Wow. Aw. This y'all first pony ride. Elijah been on a horse before, but
not on a pony.
He was a baby. He was on a big horse. He wasn't riding it. They just, the people we were with, they just had him sit on top of the horse. But this is his first pony ride, all of them. Aww. Aww. And they're not scared. They're doing so good, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I know.
Aren't they, Daddy?
Yes, they are. I'm sure this is such a magical thing for them to be on these giant dog-like creatures.
They are like big dogs. They're so sweet.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Not bad pricing either.
No.
Basically a little over $10 for all of them. All three of them to ride. So.
$110 for all three of them to ride. You know, if we was in the States at a carnival or something.
I might be 10 a person.
Maybe try 20. I think. Maybe 15 to 20, I think. Yeah.
Depends.
Look at y'all. Look at y'all. Y'all so cute. Ice cream across the street. All these different tents of a whole bunch of stuff for sale.
We don't need any strawberry jam, do we?
This
would be the place to get it.
Jam? Yeah, we don't usually buy jam. We buy jelly. No, I'm saying like that might not be a bad thing.
Well,
It's clear now. My strawberry, Ugo de Frutia.
What are those macaroons?
Macaroons.
Qué hermosa, qué alto. Wow. Permiso. Hermoso. Look at that. Look how tall it is. It's like a sunflower, but it's red.
Mommy, look, that's a mini quiero fruta, but it's not quiero fruta. See all the fruit? See, it's sweet.
See? So cool. Nice.
Flower. No, vivimos acá.
Ah, bien, aquí.
Son
Sí,
paraguayas.
Ah,
Yeah. We bought a cup of strawberries, kiwis, and what they call chantilly, which is Cool Whip. Yum, yum, yum. Woo! Yeah, look at me. Oh, that's so cute.
She's not gonna buy you.
Oh, you don't have to be scared. Oh,
Doggy.
you speak English. Hi. Oh.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, Paradise in Paraguay, where this is our paradise. Also, make sure to like us and follow us on our Facebook fan page, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Paradise in Paraguay. And while you're here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode.
Hey you guys, welcome back to our channel, Paradise in Paraguay. If you want to be a part of our virtual family, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. Now, I know it's been a little while since we recorded our last video, but as you can see, you guys, we got kids, okay? We got children, okay? And they are a handful. So anybody that's out there that got a family, you should understand. And this is not all that we do, okay? This is something that we squeeze in time to do when we have time, okay? But anyways, welcome back to the channel. And so today we're going to be talking about how we chose Paraguay. How did we get here? How did we get here? Thinking of here, right now we are at a resort hotel because yesterday was our 7-year anniversary. Applause sound effect. But yeah, so we just been here chilling and just having a wonderful time. And so we decided, hey, let's go ahead and record a video, right? Since we got some extra time right now. So if you are a subscriber, or even if you aren't, you probably have already seen our other video where we explained why we decided to leave the United States in general. So this video is just basically a continuation based off of there, just to give you guys some more insight, again, on how we got here in general. So we got why we left the States, and now today we're going to be talking about, okay, after we left the States, how did we choose where the heck we were going? You know, the world is huge. How did we choose this place? How did we choose this continent, this country? There's several countries down here, but we chose Paraguay. So we're going to get into that right now. So help us out.
All right, so the first thing we did was we listed like all the countries in the world on pieces of paper, cut them up, and put them in a hat.
Yep.
And we had Elijah pull out 5. And then between those 5, we did elimination coin flips, and we ended up with Paraguay.
Joke.
No,
we're
no,
totally
no, we didn't
totally
do that at all. No, actually, it took literally months of research. But to give you an idea of our thought process, let me just go down through the process. First of all, when you're choosing to leave your home country, you literally have the entire world to choose from. So,
right.
Looking
depending on your resources.
Yeah, depending on your resources. We literally could not choose any country out of all of them to move to. So we had to find what would work for us.
And all of them we didn't want to.
Right.
Some places got some really terrible things going on, but yeah, go ahead.
So basically, a lot of the reasons why we wanted to leave the United States had to do with a lot of the problems that are going on in developed countries in general. So in general, we didn't want to move to a developed country, and there's a lot of, when you look at the world and the globe and whatnot, a lot of the issues have to deal with where most of the world powers are, where most of the population is.
Right, which is why we didn't want to move to another developed country.
Right.
In case you didn't catch that.
Right. So we looked at, okay, well, let's go from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, because the vast
the baby was getting a little restless, so we had to put her in her stroller. She's chilling now. Yeah. But yeah, So like you were saying, all of the world powers are in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah, essentially, we moved to the southern hemisphere because the vast majority of the world's population, the vast majority of the world powers, and thus global conflict and wars and pollution and whatnot, things that affect large amounts of people on a global scale, are pretty much isolated to the northern hemisphere. So we decided to separate ourselves from that distance-wise by moving to the southern hemisphere. So that took a lot of the countries we could move to. It took that list down a lot.
Right.
Additionally,
and another thing though, we weren't looking for another U.S.
Right. Additionally, we wanted to move to a developing country versus a developed country because a lot of the problems that are going on in the United States are also mirrored in other developed countries. So we wanted to move to a developing country where we could have a more traditional and slower pace of life, and also have a lot more opportunities to grow with the country as well, and give our children the opportunities to grow with that country as well. So that's
that was like step one.
Yeah, that was step one. So essentially,
like what part of the world do we want to be in?
So we pretty much figured out kind of a region, southern hemisphere. And then when you look at the southern hemisphere, you don't really have a lot of different places to choose from. You have South America, you have parts of Africa, you have Australia, and you know what, the South Pole. No one's moving there, so that's not even part of the equation. So Australia is a developed country, and a lot of the issues that are going on in the United States are going on in Australia. So that wasn't part of that wasn't up for grab. That wasn't what we considered. Africa. There's a lot of countries in Africa, and there's a lot of different languages and a lot of different tribes and a lot of uncertainty and unfamiliarity to us. So that wasn't really something we considered either.
We didn't want too much of a culture shock.
Right.
Not too much.
And so we homed in on South America. Now South America was somewhat familiar to us, not directly but indirectly, because a lot of our
previous travels, like we mentioned in the other video.
Right. A lot of our vacationing. We went to countries where Spanish is spoken predominantly, and predominantly Spanish is spoken in South America.
And the society is similar to here.
Yes.
Those societies were similar to here. Real cool, laid back, friendly people.
What we call tranquilo down here.
Tranquilo, yeah.
Right.
So that familiarity helped us to settle in on the idea of choosing South America.
Right. And so in South America there are 12 different countries, so we had to do a bit of research, but we could X a few off pretty much immediately. We could X off Venezuela, we could X off Brazil, we could X off Argentina. And because mostly with those three countries in particular, they're having very bad economic issues of varying levels. Venezuela being the worst, Argentina and Brazil being the most developed and industrialized countries down here, they're having issues.
Yeah, like Argentina is like how we described it before. It's like a South American United States,
right?
If you will. So
and they're having some really bad economic problems, as well as Brazil, and so
a lot of inflation.
Yeah, a lot of inflation, a lot of hyperinflation. So it left us a rather shorter list of countries to do research on. So let's see.
Yeah. So with that being in mind, we were like, okay, we're not going there. With the few that was left, we started thinking about what helped us to narrow down to Paraguay, though. We were thinking about geographical safety.
Right.
That helped us to pick Paraguay because it's landlocked. We didn't want to be we didn't want to be near the ocean. We love the ocean, but we didn't want to live near it.
Right, because and basically ocean level rise. We're moving our entire family, and this is a decision that's supposed to influence our lives and our next generations of our family's lives, and we're talking about the course of decades.
Okay, we had to come inside. The kids were getting restless, so we made our way back inside our room. Okay, so continuing on again. We were talking about natural disasters.
So we were discussing how we were eliminating countries from our list of now 9 in South America. And we were looking at ocean level rise as a major potential factor because we uprooted our family to move somewhere else, so we don't want to have to do that in a few decades with climate change and whatnot.
So that pretty much eliminated most countries in South America, or at least put an X or against them, because actually, out of all the countries in South America, there's only 2 that have no coastline. But of course, you could always live inland from the coast in a particular country. But let's take Brazil, for example. Brazil was already X'd off, but that takes up most of the coastline on the Atlantic. And so, but we already X'd Brazil off. So when we move to the other side of the country, other side of the continent, on the Pacific side, you've got Chile. But Chile is a very, very narrow strip of land, very long and narrow, but there's a lot of volcanoes in Chile. And so that's another natural disaster, or set of natural disasters we didn't want to have to potentially deal with. Not at all. You know, because with volcanoes or volcanic activity also comes earthquakes. So we didn't want to deal with that at all. So it was pretty easy to let's look inland more. And so the only 2 countries that are inland with no coastline are Paraguay and Bolivia. Yeah. Now Bolivia also has volcanic activity, and also that, and also Bolivia is a little bit further to the north, which makes it hotter and more arid, and there's less arable land than in Paraguay. So we were looking between those 2, and it's like, well, let's look more into Paraguay a bit. So we looked into Paraguay a bit more, and we realized the only real natural disasters Paraguay experiences are floods, like river floods. So that can easily be mitigated by where you live. If you don't live near a river, well, you're not going to experience, it would be very, very difficult to experience flooding from a river you don't live near. If you live,
or at least it won't be as bad.
Right. And then if you live in a higher elevation area, well, then it's an even easier way to help mitigate any type of flooding or whatnot. So Paraguay really is generally natural disaster free. The main things we have to deal with are thunderstorms.
Yeah, bad thunderstorms.
Thunderstorms, which you get those everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, no place is perfect, but this, compared to all the other places that's here, on that, as far as this topic alone, this place definitely, we were like, okay, 2 thumbs up.
Very stable in regards to natural disasters. No volcanic activity here, at least no time in our recorded history from the research that I can do. So we didn't have to worry too much about volcanoes or earthquakes or just massive flooding or anything like that. So then, as I also mentioned, agriculture. Paraguay has a very, very, very agricultural society. A large portion of the GDP, I think around 1/3, is based off of agriculture. And as I mentioned earlier, we were trying to find a place where we could live a more traditional, tranquilo lifestyle. When you have a country that's relies so heavily on agriculture, that makes things relatively stable, because people always need to eat, and people always need to eat fruits, vegetables, meats. And Paraguay is a very, very fertile country with a lot of arable land, and because the country, a large portion of the country's economy runs on that, it's pretty well established on how to live that way here. So that was a plus, because ultimately we'd like to have our own farm here.
Right, we want land.
Yes. So
which was another reason that made us cross out Bolivia, like you were saying, like it's really, really hot.
It's hot and drier, so
yeah, it's a lot drier. Not good. Not good for. If it is good for agriculture, it's not as good as Paraguay.
Right, exactly. Paraguay also has a lot of fresh water that runs through it. There's big rivers that run through Paraguay, and there's a lot of aquifers underground with a lot of fresh water. As a matter of fact, one of the largest freshwater aquifers in the world partially lies under Paraguay, and it's known as the Guarani Aquifer. So a lot of access to fresh water, even though it's landlocked. So that's also important, because if you have some drought, in regards to not a lot of rain, you still have to have access to fresh water. So with a combination of having a lot of fertile arable land and access to fresh water, whether it's from a river or from rain or from the ground, it made it a very, very good decision in regards to
someone who wants to move somewhere where they want to get into agricultural lifestyle. We also had to consider the stability of the government. Paraguay had been under a dictatorship up until around 1989, but since then it's been under a democracy. So the government's relatively stable.
Relatively.
Yeah, it's relatively
they have
stable.
Their issues here and there,
but yeah, generally everything's pretty stable. So we don't really have to worry about too much in regards to instability or political instability. Let's see. We wanted to move to a place. We wanted to move to a place that was relatively friendly to foreigners, especially American foreigners.
Right.
And
especially American ones.
And Paraguay actually really likes the United States a lot. We actually have down here we don't have states. We have what are called departments, which would be the equivalent of what we have as states. Yeah. We have a department that's named after President Hayes. Paraguay really loves the United States.
They have a good relationship.
In the history of Paraguay, President Hayes did help out with one of the wars. I can't recall which one, and that's why there's a department named after him. Additionally, we get all the movies and music and stuff down here that comes from the United States, and Paraguay really kind of idolizes the United States. People name their businesses after U.S. cities and U.S. states, and everywhere when you're in the city, you'll see signs to learn English and stuff like that. So Paraguay really likes the United States. So
which in turn,
that means they like Americans.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons, or maybe it's the main reason why they are so friendly and accepting toward Americans in general.
Yeah. So
unless you do some crazy stuff, that's on you. But in general, starting out, you're looked at as good people.
Yep.
Now, as far as other people from other countries, we don't know, so because we're not from those countries, so we're not exactly sure how other nationalities might be looked at. We can just speak from our point of view. But as far as Americans, no problems so far.
Right. Also, we wanted to move to a place where the residency requirements were not too burdensome.
Yes.
When we looked into the residency requirements for Paraguay,
some places are ridiculous.
Paraguay is relatively easy to get residency as long as you don't have like a criminal rap sheet or anything like that. Part of moving here, we had to get an FBI background check, and since we are upstanding citizens from the United States with no criminal background or history, that was easy. That was easy for us. Additionally, they don't have any ongoing income requirements, whereas many states or many countries you have to have a certain amount of income coming in per month. And since we were quitting our jobs and selling everything to move here, we were cutting off our U.S. sources of income, or at least the vast majority of our U.S. sources of income. So Paraguay doesn't have that type of requirement. They do require you to either have a job or have $5,000 to deposit in their national bank, which they do give back to you after you go through the residency process. So it's relatively accessible to people who are considering moving to another country compared to other countries where you might have to have a few $100,000 to invest into a foreign company or something like that.
Right.
That wasn't something that was going to work for us, but Paraguay's residency requirements did work for us. On top of that, we wanted to move to a place that would give us a very good balance for work and work-life balance. Paraguay in general, the vast majority of people here, because the cost of living is low, even though the wages are low, people have time. They have time for their lives. They have time to spend with family. A lot of people, for lunch during the day, they might leave from their job and go to their family's home or their parents' home and have lunch together. So there's a very, very good balance, a work-life balance here. And we wanted a society and live in a society and be able to experience the same type of thing. And Paraguay does provide that. So that is also a good thing.
In general, there are some people that, don't have as much tranquilo, as we call it, but that's probably from their own choices. Maybe they just they're a part of, maybe they're running a business and it just requires a lot more time for them to get to the goals that they have established. But in general, like the regular, normal working class people tend to be, you know, at a very peaceful state of mind from what we can see.
Yeah. Actually, for lunch, a lot of businesses, the smaller ones, and there's a lot of smaller. Yeah.
Like, is it an hour?
It could be an hour, it could be 2 hours. It depends.
Yeah, it depends.
But yeah, a lot of businesses close for lunch, so people can have that time to lunch and take a siesta or whatnot. It is pretty hot here, so you know, in the middle of the day, gym tends to be the hottest. So yeah, siestas happen here as well.
One of the cultural things we like about it.
Yes. Let's see what else we've got here. We also had to move to a country that had a Church of Christ. We are members of the Church of Christ. Well, we still are. Remember, we were members of the Church of Christ in the United States, and we wanted to move to a country that had an established body of the Church of Christ. And Paraguay really only had 2 congregations, but all you really need is one to join one. So that was important for us, so we could still have a very familiar faith life.
Yeah, a familiar place to worship.
Yes.
And, yeah, we want to, of course, we have children, so we want to have a place where we can spiritually raise our children.
Yes.
You know? So, yeah, that would have been a deal breaker, I think, if there was no Church of Christ.
Right.
So that was really important.
On top of that, we needed to move to a place where homeschooling is legal.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Americans are moving to other countries, and homeschooling is not always legal. For example, Costa Rica. That's a hot spot for a lot of American expats, but homeschooling is not legal there. So some Americans have been getting in trouble and not being able to keep their permanent residency because they decided to still try and do it. And when the authorities caught up with them, it didn't work out well for them. Paraguay.
That was recent, wasn't it? I think you read about a story where that happened pretty recently.
Yeah, I can't remember the year, but it's still illegal there. But here, even though it's not very common at all, it's not common. Most people don't homeschool, but it is legally recognized, and so it does allow us that flexibility to homeschool our children. We were already planning to homeschool our children in the United States, and we really haven't changed our minds in regards to that just because we moved to another country. So we're going to be doing that as well, and we don't have to worry about any legal ramifications for making that decision, right? So after we pretty much found out all these things, we decided, hey, well, we need to go visit. So
gotta visit.
So we did some research and found a place for us to stay, and we went to we booked a stay for about a week at the Yacht and Golf Club. And the Yacht and Golf Club sounds very fancy, and it is a fancy place. But when one of the fanciest places, when they have Holiday Inn pricing for your stay, it really kind of makes you feel like, oh wow, this is pretty awesome.
Taken back in a positive way.
Yes.
Because that's considered like a 5-star hotel, but for 2 or 3 star hotel pricing.
Yes.
As far as compared to the United States,
right?
You know, we got people watching us, not from the U.S. too. So I'm just trying to keep things in perspective.
So we visited, and at the time, the only contacts we had made prior to visiting, we had found a lawyer on the internet that helps with residency who was marketing towards Americans. He had his website in English and whatnot. It was a .com domain, I believe.
At the time.
No name. And so we hooked up with him, and he had another lawyer he worked with, and they helped us just discover the country a bit while we were visiting. And so we were driven around through the countryside because we indicated we wanted to buy land.
And we were driven around through the city and whatnot, and
just to get a feel for the place.
Yeah, so they
First
basically
a week is not long enough to, you know, fully know everything about a country that you're considering moving to. We know that, but we have to give it some time, you know.
Right. This was a week of visiting after literally months of research. So we researched for months. We visited for about a week. We were treated very, very well at the Yacht and Golf Club and by a team of 2 lawyers who, by the way,
didn't pressure us or hound us for payments, stuff like that.
There was we didn't have to pay any type of retainer or anything like that.
Cool,
and honestly, by the time we left, we still hadn't paid them. They hadn't even asked to be paid. We were back in the United States, and I had to email them, hey, how much do we owe you? And can you give me all your information so I can Western Union it to you? And in the end, it was less than $300 for us to be chauffeured around for miles and miles and miles, now working with 2 lawyers.
Now you know, if you are an American watching, if you do any type of business with a lawyer, your retainer alone, before they even do any work for you, is going to be more than $300. Our total service, I can't even talk. The entire service that they provided for us wasn't even $300. I think it was a little less than $300. It was a little less than $300. In dollars.
Yeah, so, you might get an hour's worth of work out of a U.S. lawyer for $300. Maybe.
And they ain't doing nothing. So, excuse me. So that was something that just blew us away, you know. Mm-hmm. But why was it like that? It was like, I guess because they have their honor system is still intact here.
Yeah, the honor system.
Now, of course, if they get burned a few times by people, that will probably change. But you know, apparently that hasn't happened yet, and I hope that it does not. And we're upstanding people, so we weren't looking to burn anybody. We made sure we, you know, paid them and everything. But it was just the fact that things were so laid back, you know, with the whole process and everything, and with payment and stuff. Like, we just didn't feel any pressure. We just didn't feel any pressure from them to pay them immediately or to put a retainer down or anything like that. It was cool.
Yeah, it was very, very cool and relaxed, and it just showed how
that was a sign for us that, you know,
money is not super. Of course, everywhere you go, money is important, but it's not like
hit over the head.
It's not the primary driver of things here. Here, people are just more trusting and more about each people and each other in general, instead of prioritizing money over the majority of things.
Even when I know this is off subject, but even this is about the culture, but we'll get back on. But even when we go to restaurants and we're having a good time and, you know, we're done eating, they're not quick to bring you the bill to kick you out, you know? Like, you just feel a real sense of coolness and calmness here. Like, you can sit in the restaurant for probably literally an hour or 2 after you have eaten.
Oh, you can sit there
and just, you know, and just have a good time and enjoy yourself and chill out without them hounding you, or I won't say hounding you because they don't hound you in the States, but without you feeling pressure to pay immediately. You can really just enjoy yourself and pay after that. You know?
Right. They're not trying to get you out so they can get their table filled with someone else as quickly as possible. They're more about tranquilo, relax, enjoy yourself, because that's just how we do here.
Right.
On top of that, when we did visit, we happened to visit it during the St. Patrick's Day weekend. It was not by design. It just happened to happen that way. We don't really celebrate St. Patrick's Day in the States. Us personally, we don't. Yeah. But we just happened to be in Paraguay when St. Patrick's Day happened. Yeah. And there was a huge party in the downtown streets. It was just blocks and blocks and blocks of people and stages and different plazas and DJs and music and people just partying. Don't stop the party. And it was just an awesome experience. And we had our son
We
Elijah.
had a lot of people, of course.
Yeah, we had our son.
To us.
Yeah, they flocked to us because we do look a lot different. But we had our son Elijah, who was less than 1 year old. I had him strapped to me in a baby harness, and we were just enjoying the party. And like people were so welcoming, even though we really couldn't understand them. We could tell by their expressions and how they were speaking to us that they were just really, really happy to see us there, enjoying the time with them. And another thing that was really, really interesting was this party lasted literally until like the sun started coming up, and we were out really, really late. But
yeah,
they
party hard. That's his point.
But we saw people that were not employees of the city or anything like that cleaning up the cups and cans as the party was still going on, so things would not get too messy. Like, so there's a sense of pride of the country that we saw during the party. They were just trying to keep things clean during the party, and so it left a really, really good impression on us.
It was refreshing to see that, especially when you are thinking of moving to a, developing, quote unquote, third world country. You might think like, oh, everything is going to be yucky or dirty or run down. People don't care about what things look like. And, it might be that case to a certain extent, even here and even other places.
Yes.
But what he's trying to say is that it was refreshing to see that that type of mindset that people have, and even us, we're a little guilty of it. To see what we saw, it was refreshing to see that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
It was nice to see that they do care about keeping things intact and clean and stuff like that. Everything's not just willy-nilly, well, it's a third world country, who cares, it's gonna be crap everywhere. That's not how it is everywhere. There are some places, it's places like that in the States too.
Yeah.
People don't care, but it was refreshing to see what we saw that night.
Additionally, while we were visiting, we looked into just things that we could that would affect the cost of living, like the cost of food, the cost of renting apartments and renting houses, cost of vehicles. Generally, the things you need that are not imported into the country, like food that's grown here domestically, is very inexpensive. Rent for apartments and houses compared to the United States is very inexpensive, unless you're trying to live in a very fancy place or in a fancy zone or something like that. But if you're, if you're like us and don't really care, but you're okay with living more modestly or not trying to show off to people, then you can live here very, very affordably. So that was another thing, the cost of living. And that's a major reason why the work-life balance is so good here, because paying for the things you need to live is not overly burdensome. Whereas in the United States, most normal people have to hustle just to keep the roof over your head.
Which is a necessity.
Right.
And that's sad.
Right.
Necessity shouldn't be that hard to attain or maintain.
And keep. Right. So that was another thing. When we visited, we felt the warmth. We saw how balanced things were in regards to work and life, how inexpensive it is for the necessities. Now, that's for the necessities. For other things that are possibly imported into the country, they can get a bit expensive. So because the government raises a lot of money through imports and custom fees, but that offsets the very low taxes here. The tax rates are very low. It's pretty much 10% across the board. Unless you're, you don't make a lot of money, then you're not paying taxes at all. Right. So the taxes are low, but import and custom fees are high. So that really it makes it so anything you really need is inexpensive, and fancier imported stuff is more expensive. And that's not that big of a deal to us. It's a good trade-off from our point of view.
Any more points on here?
That's about it. We've covered everything on my list here.
I hope it's not too long. Probably is.
Oh, wait a minute. I do have something.
Oh, okay. One more thing.
Utilities and the general other bills you have to pay.
Yeah.
Paraguay has like the most powerful hydroelectric dam in the world.
in regards to how much electricity it produces. It's not the largest, but it is the highest capacity in regards to electricity production.
And we did find that out before we moved.
Yes,
right?
yes, And so therefore it makes the electricity very inexpensive. So we don't have a gas pipeline system like natural gas pipeline system like is pretty common in the United States. So everything runs off of electricity. Your heat, when you do need heat in the winter, when it gets a little cool, like 40, 50 degrees, everything is space heaters and stuff like that. But the electricity bills are really low compared to the United States. Right. So that makes your cost of living lower. Also, cell phone bills, internet bills, cable bills, a lot lower than the United States. We're talking about, maybe
less than half.
Yeah, less than half.
Less than half of whatever your normal provider charges you. Think about, slicing that not in half, but less than half.
Well, we're talking about cable and internet packages starting around $20 to $40 a month versus $100-something. So
when we were in the States, our stuff was over $100 a month.
Yeah.
The cable package we had.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Ongoing bills and food and stuff like that. Everything you need, things you need to consider for your monthly budget or whatnot. A lot lower. Oh, also.
But you're talking about cost of living. We're talking about what we chose here. Oh, the weather. We didn't talk about the weather.
Yes.
Yeah, when we did our research, of course, that was part of the equation in deciding where to go, because we didn't want to go nowhere that's really cold or I can't say really hot because it is really hot here. We didn't want to go nowhere where it's really cold, okay?
But we want to go somewhere where the weather's pleasant and relatively stable.
It is hot here though.
It gets hot here in the summer. It can get to around 105, 110 degrees Fahrenheit.
Summertime.
But in the wintertime, it can get as low as about 40 something at night. But during the day, it's still pleasant. You'll see 70s, 80s,
about 70.
And then even into the 90s during the winter.
Fahrenheit.
So for people who want to get into an agricultural lifestyle, that just provides a lot of growing season.
Yeah, a lot of time throughout the entire year to still grow lots of different things.
Yes.
Yeah, but not just we don't want to just talk about summer and winter, but spring and fall. Yeah. Still hot.
Well, right now it's fall here, and you saw we're dressed pretty. We're not.
You're dressed for as if it's cold, but no, it's still warm.
It's nice. From earlier in our video, you saw we were outside, and it was very pleasant.
It was about 80. It was 78.
Yep. It's so fall and spring are very nice. There's a rainy season. So essentially, there's about in regards to precipitation, there's about 40 inches, give or take, of rain per year, which is approximately double of what we're used to in Michigan, which is give or take about 20 inches a year, but that's spread between rain and snow. Mm-hmm. But that 40 inches of rain per year here makes things just grow so much. Again, for anybody who's trying to come here for agricultural reasons, which is our end goal, to have a small farm, that's a great thing because
everything's about growth.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The more water the plants get, the bigger and faster they grow, and things grow here very fast.
Yes.
So,
and we love the mangoes here too.
Yes.
I didn't talk about that.
Oh yeah, all the fruit and stuff.
Yes, we got it's pronounced mango. We have a mango tree in front of our house. I just want to throw that in there because I just thank God for that tree.
We also have an orange tree as well, and a guava tree.
Yes,
so yeah, so those are the 3 trees we have in addition to a giant palm tree in front of our house. But
in the city we live in, we're still doing city life right now. We're gonna move to the countryside really soon, Lord willing.
Yes, and we plan to have a lot of different fruit trees. But so yeah, the weather is great for what we wanted to do with moving to another country, focusing on agriculture. It's great. It's just pleasant all the time. Coming from Michigan, where it gets really, really cold, and especially with these polar vortexes and Arctic blast things going on in the U.S., it's very, very, very stable. Right. It can be a little bit hot, so we got to rely on air conditioning. But because the electricity bills are relatively low, it's not that big a deal. So I think we've pretty much hit everything, right?
Pretty much. We don't want to touch on I guess we'll let's say the cost of, or what we know anyways, as far as how much land costs, because everybody wants to know that.
Yeah, everybody wants to know how much does this land cost? How much is that?
Yeah,
we'll get into that in another video.
On that a little now, or
no, we'll get into that in another video. Let's just go ahead and.
Okay, but just so you know, we don't know that much about it. We don't have our land yet, so that's one of the reasons why we haven't done a video on that stuff yet. I know a lot of people are like, how much is land? How much is this much? How much for this many trees? And
there's a lot of different variables that play a part into the cost. So yeah, you just
that's
can't.
That's like if we asked you the country you from, how much is land in general?
There's too many things.
You can't just tell me how much land is. It depends on what I want, how big it is,
where it's located, what the amenities are, this and that, blah blah blah. There's so many things. So there is no land price in Paraguay.
One answer fits all.
It varies a lot.
And even to find the answer, we would have to go and do a lot of footwork, because there's not a lot of online resources to get that type of information, which is one of the reasons we haven't even got our own yet. We have to go and find the time to go out to the countryside, because things aren't just out there like that. Paraguay is, a developing country, and that means in the internet sense as well. And a lot of people don't have their stuff listed online, so you have to go out, do the footwork, ask questions,
talk to people.
Yeah, so yeah, you might want do your own research to figure those things out. Okay, yes. But we will talk about. We're still in a future video. We're still going to go into what we do know about that topic, but we don't know everything. So please don't think that we do, because we don't. We can't just go answering your questions like that.
And I think
concerning land.
And I think in regards to our next video, I think we're going to get into what steps we actually had to go through to actually physically move from the United States to Paraguay. We already had made up.
Yeah, that'll be our next video.
Yeah, we already had made up on our mind. This is what we want to do. So the first step, which is the hardest step, is the mental step.
Yes.
But then after that, the physical stuff, the logistics, there were a lot of things to do. So we'll get into that.
Some things were a headache. Some things were not so much a headache. But yeah, we're gonna go through that process to let you guys know how that happened, and all the details and ins and outs of that.
Yep. So
I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. We hope you guys enjoyed the time we were able to spend with you guys today. As you saw earlier, we had we done moved twice and had to get the kids situated. They sleep now, thank God. But yeah, so now we can have some us time. But so please like this video, subscribe to our channel so you can get the updates and get the notifications on the next time we upload a video, and just continue to follow us on our journey. This is a life blog, aka vlog of our lives. So we enjoy sharing our experiences with you guys. Again, we don't know everything about here. We're still new to here. We're still new here in general, but this channel is just to just enlighten people of our journey, our journey of us being here, and the things that we enjoy about this country and this lifestyle. So please like this video, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Later.
Ciao, ciao. Nos vemos.
Nos vemos. Hey you guys, welcome back to Paradise in Paraguay. Thank you so much for joining us today. As you should already know, we have a lot to talk about because there has been a lot going on worldwide, and so we have a lot to update you guys on. First of all, we just want to say that we hope everyone has been staying safe and that you guys are all healthy. Of course, everyone knows of the coronavirus that's been going around, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. This devil of a virus has been taking lives back to back, and
we just, you know, we hope everyone is okay. You know, health-wise, we are okay, but it has affected. Thank God for that. Yes, but it has affected our lives to a great extent, and we're going to get into that in this video. We also hope everyone that may have been affected by any protest that's going on because of the civil unrest that is currently happening right now is okay. If you are protesting, please be safe. It's such that this is even happening because, of course, we're Black, so we also feel the pain in that regard as far as you know, racial injustices that's been taking place.
Yeah,
this has been happening for a long time.
It's so unfortunate that this is even necessary, but it is what it is. You know, we know the real history of the United States, and we know how this country was founded, or that country was founded. So, you know,
yeah. So that's
what it is.
Yeah, that's a whole different topic, but we were just, you know, we just wanted to touch on those two things really quick before we go into what's been going on with us. Like I said, both of those things has affected us one way or another. Also, as you can hear, our daughter is making noise. So a real quick disclaimer.
And our son now too. Quiet, you guys.
They are awake, and we tried to do this when they
Yeah, this is the
second.
second.
We tried to do this when they were asleep. I was gonna say we tried to do it when
this is literally the second day we've tried to get this video done. But as you can see, if you're...
It doesn't always work out.
Yeah, it doesn't always work out. If you got little kids, you know how this works. And if you're a content creator with little kids, props and shout outs to you because, yeah, it's...
You understand the most.
You understand what we're going through.
Creator with small children. But anyways, I just wanted to put a little disclaimer out there. They're probably going to make some noise. I'm going to do the best that I can to edit them out and everything. But like I said, we've been trying to get this video done for a while, so we're going to just go ahead and shoot right through it, and whatever happens, happens.
And we'll try to make sure that everything that we can present to you is as clear as possible.
Yes. So, and big shout out to our newest subscribers. Thank you guys so much for the support. We really appreciate it. And of course, we can't leave out our first set of subscribers. Thank you guys for sticking with us, you know, and riding with us. You know, we appreciate that. Especially with us not making content all the time, because that's just not the type of channel this is right now. We're not YouTube gurus yet, maybe one day, but that's just not what we're doing right now. Our main focus is our family. So we do this when we can, as I said in a previous video. So they know that.
Yep.
What else did we want to say before we get into? I guess that was it. So before we talk about where we are right now and how this whole pandemic has affected our lives, we want to just get you guys caught up. We want to get you guys caught up on how we got to the point that we are at right now.
Right.
So you want to take over with that?
So some months back, we decided we needed to travel back to the United States to handle some business back there in Michigan specifically, because that's where we're from. Predominantly dealing with some property that we own, but also to handle a few other things as well. So while we were there, dealing with the things we had to deal with, in January, we started to hear about this very contagious virus that had sprung up in China and then spread to Europe, specifically Italy. And it caught our attention, but at that point it didn't seem like it was such a big deal. But then eventually it spread, according to the mainstream media, spread to the United States in the Seattle, Washington area. And we were looking at this like, well, it's spreading pretty fast, and
Very fast.
Okay. They're saying it doesn't really affect people like us, younger, healthy people. But at the same time, it's spreading really fast. So, okay, well, it's not that big a deal right now at this point. But then it spread all the way from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast, and New York started to become pretty hard hit, and it was
getting a little alarming.
Yeah, a little alarming. We weren't really afraid for ourselves. It was more like the governmental reactions from various countries, how they were trying to control the spread or control the outbreak or whatnot. We were, we keep up with news all around the world because we are literally international people. We travel a lot, so we.
And we love our freedom to do so.
Exactly. So when we began to catch wind of various countries starting to do things in response to the virus, such as shutting down their borders or closing airports, or various responses across the globe, we started to get a bit concerned because that affects us directly in regards to travel. And then it spread to Michigan. And as it spread to Michigan and started getting worse and worse in Michigan, they started to shut things down in Michigan, and we literally couldn't do the things we had traveled to the United States to do in the first place. So that was starting to weigh on our decision to go ahead and leave also. And as we were watching the world literally start to shut down country by country, there was more and more pressure for us to go ahead and leave. On top of that, because the U.S. did not have a unified response, it was up to the states to do whatever they felt that they wanted to do, and there was no unified federal response. Even though Michigan was shutting down, with other states still open and not really taking it seriously,
it was still spreading.
It was still spreading a lot because people travel domestically between state to state all the time. And so it just didn't seem like the U.S. was taking it very seriously. And with it spreading around the globe so quickly, we felt like, well, this could be quite more serious than the U.S. is portraying it. And when we compared that to how Paraguay was responding to the pandemic, where they had already shut down the public school systems, they had already started shutting down restaurants and other businesses and whatnot. Very early on, and they didn't even have more than a handful of deaths at that time, and infection rates were just creeping up very, very slowly. Infection rates were creeping up very, very slowly. We decided, okay, well, that would be another reason, because even though we weren't too concerned about the virus in regards to ourselves, we still really didn't know how bad it could be. So
no one did.
Right, no one really did, and it turned out that it was worse than how people were portraying it, how the authorities were portraying it early on in the United States. So so we decided we need to get home as soon as possible. So, but first,
if we could, that was the plan.
Right. So the first thing we had to do was make sure that there were available flights and itineraries from the United States to Paraguay. Now, here's something we got to note. That in the best of times, there are no direct flights from any city in the United States directly to Paraguay. It's just there's just not enough. There's just not enough airline traffic between the little country of Paraguay and the United States. So generally, every time we fly back and forth, each way we have to take 3 planes, and there's always another country involved.
Right.
So
with us knowing that.
Yeah, we hopped on orbits.
We have to move quickly.
Yeah, we hopped on orbits, and we checked to see what was available, and we saw that there were itineraries available from Detroit, DTW Airport to Paraguay. So we went ahead and snatched up some tickets, and then we started to pack because we had to go. So not too long, not that long passed, and it was time to go. And during that time period, family members were questioning us and whatnot, and asking, do you think maybe you're overreacting, or you think you might be doing something drastic or moving too fast? Like, well, no. We have a home. It's not in the United States. We have a home in Paraguay.
We're just trying to get to it.
What's happening right now is unprecedented, and we don't want to be stuck in the United States and not be able to do what we came here to do in the first place and not be able to go home. So
exactly, because the response of the authorities was outside of our control. If the authorities decided to shut down any part of an area that we need to fly through out of, in the name of, COVID-19, then that screws us up.
Right.
And then we can't get home, and we have to keep that in mind. Like he just said, there's we have to travel. We got to stop in at least one other country before we got to cross international borders with an S, you know, when we're trying to get home. So that came into play with our decision. We're like, okay, we really got to go.
Right.
Because if one part stops in the chain, we're done. We can't go.
Right. So we had put, like as I mentioned, we hopped on Orbitz. We booked a flight. We're going to fly through Atlanta, and then from Atlanta to Sao Paulo in Brazil, which is right next to Paraguay, and then Sao Paulo, Brazil to Asuncion, Paraguay, the capital of Paraguay, which is not too far from where we live in Paraguay. Fast forward a little bit, not too far, because we bought tickets for a flight really almost right before we had to take the flight, and we get to the airport, and as we're pulling, we take an Uber. We took an Uber, us, our kids, all of our stuff. So we had to get Uber XL. We had a lot of stuff, mostly because of the kids, car seats, stroller, all of our luggage. Yeah. So we pulled up to the terminal, and we were flying through Delta, and there is no traffic outside the terminal. It's just dead. So we're like, yeah, this is really serious.
Right. It was as dead as they had described it on the news.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, so we just got to the airport, and I've never seen it look this dead before. You see behind you, no cars, no one's pulling up. There's a few cars that way, but like it's just, you can't really tell inside, but I can. It's no one inside really. So we should be able to check in and get through security really, really fast. But this is, this is some end of the world type stuff. This is scary. We got our stuff, see? No people, there's nobody outside.
So we had to get one of those carts, start loading it up with all the luggage and everything, and you get the kids, and we walked into the terminal, and there were no lines. We walked right up to the check-in desk.
Mm-hmm. The employees look bored.
Yeah, people just twiddling their thumbs like, there's nothing to do, there's no one here, no one flying. And so we gave the check-in attendant our names and our passports, and said, okay, yeah, we're ready to check in, ready for our flight. And she starts going through the system, and she's like, we don't have any tickets for you.
Oh, hell no!
And we're like, whoa, what do you mean you don't have any tickets? We spent a lot of money on these tickets.
When she said that, we were like,
oh, hell no!
We were kind of mad, we held it back, but we were like,
what?
What you mean? It came out of our bank accounts. Like,
right,
what you
right.
mean? We ain't got no tickets. Yes, we do.
Right, and this is not.
You better find them.
Anybody that flies planes to any degree or internationally or anything like that, and if you buy your tickets not too far ahead of when you need to travel, they tend to be expensive. On top of the fact that they're international tickets.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, even though during this time they're saying airline prices were going down, they weren't that cheap for us, so they didn't seem like they were much lower than usual, and I think that had to do with the fact that it was international, and it was like at the last minute. So we're like, okay, what do you mean? And it took a lot of back and forth between us and the check-in agent.
And plus, she wasn't doing her job, her due diligence right to find all the information either.
Well, and she really wasn't explaining the situation well for us. We had told her we had bought the tickets through Orbitz and everything like that, and after a fair amount of back and forth, we finally were able to get her to communicate to us properly that just because you bought through a third-party travel agency and that you were paid and that you have a reservation and they confirmed it, doesn't mean you actually have tickets. And because of the fact that
what if you could give your customers the same trusted, one-click checkout experience they already use across millions of sites, but without leaving sales reps? Hi, I'm Don, and today we're introducing the brand new Chargent PayPal integration, a powerful way to expand your payment options, streamline reconciliation, and give customers more ways to pay. Customers expect flexibility. They want to choose how they pay, whether that's a credit card, digital wallet, or PayPal. And this new integration helps you meet those expectations without adding complexity. With PayPal now embedded in Salesforce through Chargent, your team can offer fast, secure payments that build trust and reduce friction at checkout. Across industries, PayPal drives measurable results. For example, nonprofits using PayPal Complete Payments typically see donation conversion rates and recurring engagement improve substantially. Here's how it works. Your Salesforce user or customer selects PayPal right in the Salesforce payment screen or Experience Cloud page. They log in securely with PayPal, no redirects, no extra forms, and once the transaction is complete, Chargent automatically records the payment data back into Salesforce. That means instant visibility for your finance, sales, or support teams, and no manual reconciliation later. Depending on your business model, you can choose from PayPal Complete Payments, or PPCP, which is an all-in-one solution that includes processing, risk tools, and future-ready features like PayPal's Pay Later options, or a traditional gateway plus processor setup for teams who prefer separate components. Either way, it's fast, flexible, and secure. Here are some benefits. Flexibility. Let customers pay their way with PayPal and digital wallets. Simplicity. Streamlined setup and reconciliation inside Salesforce. Future ready. Prepare for new features like Pay in 4 and Pay monthly, and no additional fees through Chargent. All you need is a PayPal business account to get started. If you're ready to reduce collections challenges and automate payments in Salesforce, Chargent makes it simple. Download our guide using the link in the description below and start building automated payment workflows today. I'm Don from Chargent, where we make Salesforce payments simple. Visit our PayPal landing page to learn more and prepare for the release. And for more helpful tips, watch this next video right here. And remember, at Chargent, we've raised the standard for payments in Salesforce.
Everybody involved in our situation for us to just go.
It designed your furry pop Grover to...
She didn't have anything available in Paraguay, but we reflected back on what our original itinerary was, which was from Detroit to Atlanta, Atlanta to Sao Paulo, or Sao Paulo to Asuncion. So we're like, okay, let's get to Sao Paulo. Yeah. Do you have anything to Sao Paulo, Brazil? Right. And so she goes through the system. Yeah, I got something. Okay. It's like, all right, okay, great. So, but we weren't going to just buy tickets at the desk to Sao Paulo, Brazil, and not know if we could get from Sao Paulo, Brazil to Asuncion, Paraguay. So
we have to make that check first.
So, but Delta didn't have it, but because we've traveled so much between South America and North America, we're familiar with the South American airlines down there. Yeah. So we hopped on the internet on our cell phones right there at the front desk, and we checked out the different airlines, and eventually we came to LATAM, which we had flown on before. We had Apollo to Asuncion. But there was so much stuff going on, so whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, but it was the same exact flight, same exact time. So it was like, okay, this is the flight we would have taken if Delta would have kept the original itinerary.
Right. So we're like, let's at least just get to Brazil. It's next door to Paraguay. We'll be close, and then after that,
there's a
we
flight.
can just buy another set of tickets while we're in Brazil to Paraguay.
Yeah,
we should be home.
It would have been ideal for us to buy the tickets right then and there, but because buying tickets online takes a little bit of time, and we're pressed for time. Because of all the rigmarole we were going through
from the original
set of tickets not being bought, our time was ticking. We had arrived at the airport, with more than enough time originally, thinking that our flight, we had tickets and everything, but because of all the time wasted going back and forth with the check-in agent, we really had to just buy the tickets to Sao Paulo ASAP and then just decide, okay, when we get to Sao Paulo, we'll buy the tickets. From LATAM to Paraguay, to Asuncion. Yeah,
that was the plan.
Right.
Okay.
So we get the tickets. We get the tickets to Sao Paulo through Atlanta. We pretty much rush down security because time's ticking, and we pretty much breeze right through TSA because there's no one there.
Yeah. So we boarded our flight, and we got on. We didn't miss it.